welcome to week 4. I'm in jeans, amazing. My share for you guys this week, because we're moving into heart energy, is particularly with this practice, very much about being open, and that's why I just thought, I'm here, why not just let this happen as it needs to. And the practice this week is also not necessarily involving so much of your legs, so even if you want to rock out in jogging pants, it's totally fine. And what I love about heart energy is really just that authenticity, that energy of being tuned into who you are as your authentic self. And so vulnerability and being open is so in line with all of that this is life happening right now, and we're here. So the practice for this week will be centered around, of course, tapping into the energy of your heart and opening it up a little bit more. Now, I will say that based on your practice so far, this practice may actually be the most emotional as far as anything that you're clearing as you move through the work. So I would say to be gentle with yourself. The other factor of heart that I actually really love is that it is about compassion and forgiveness. And then there's an element of acceptance that's in there that's quite powerful. So no mat, jeans on, yoga, amazing. So the first pose in the sequence this week will be melting heart, which is one of my favorites. It's so good for your shoulders. And of course, heart is super tapped into your shoulders, so this is perfect. And what you'll do to set it up, it's very similar to puppy pose. If you have ever done that in the hot room or in another yoga practice. So the bolster is just here as a way for you to, if you need to, just intensify the shoulder opening that's happening, the chest opening. So bolster's in front of me. I'm gonna shift it out of the way for now, just to show puppy pose. So puppy pose, you bring your forearms down, and then with keeping your bum in the air, you just drop your forehead down to the floor. Now, you can also, if you want to make this a little bit wilder, put your arms on the bolster and then just drop your forehead down. Okay, so that's pose 1. I'm going to recommend that you hold that for 4 to 5 minutes. If not, you could take it out to 8 if you want, if that works. If it's too much, at least give it 3 minutes, and you are going to want a lot of breath. Now, I would also suggest that you put something under your knees if you need some support, so like a blanket or even pillows if you're at home, okay? Second pose is also one of my favorites. It's called shoulder stretch. Now, what you would do in this case is come all the way down to your belly, and then you take your right arm straight out of your shoulders. So you can see it a little bit from here, straight out. You're reaching towards that side of the room, and then you're gonna roll over onto that side, so your right side, and bring your knees in towards your chest. Now you can stay here if this is really intense, or you can take it up by bringing your left foot to the floor, pointing it into the ceiling, taking your left arm and wrapping it around your low back, okay? And then I would suggest at least 5 minutes per side for that pose, just to allow the front of your chest to really open up, to get into the connective tissue, the ligaments, and the front of your shoulder. And then the last pose, which in truth, if you've done my practices at the studio here, you know this very well, is supported fish. So if you have a bolster, great. If you don't, you can use a couple of big pillows, or if you have blocks, that's also amazing. So, super simple. You can take your legs out long in front of you. I like to have the bolster up against my body just because it feels a little bit better, but you can put a little bit of space in between. You pull in, and you're gonna lean back, you set your arms, come by your sides. And then I suggest allowing just the weight of your body to drop right down into the bolster or the pillow, whatever you have underneath you. And you can stay here as long as you want to. That's the truth. You can also bring your feet together into like a butterfly variation if that feels good. So it's really and truly up to you. You can take your meditation this week in that pose as well. It's actually really powerful. I would suggest that only because there's something really interesting that happens when you're in that pose. Your body is in this state of being really open and receptive, and that's the energy, the vibe of this week. So if you're there, then take that on. I hope you have a wonderful week, and sending you all kinds of love.